And welcome back to the 2023 Phoenix Media Day, where I'm joined by Scott Fischer of Options for Senior Living. Scott, thanks for joining us.
Absolutely. Good to see you.
Good to see you too, man.
Thanks.
So, great Options for Senior Living placement and that end of the industry. Tell us what is the full scope of Options for Senior Living?
Sure.
What do you say?
I started this 20 years ago. I came out of a career in nursing, and I was working specifically with families who were suffering from usually some aspect of dementia. It was really a first experience clinically for me to see the impact, not just with the loved one who was affected, but the pain and the pressure put on the family, for caring for someone. And so we provide a no-cost guidance service for families as they're walking through the journey of trying to find the right senior living when they've come to that conclusion that they can't do it at home any longer. It's not exclusively for folks that suffer with dementia or one of the forms, but that's usually one of the triggering events, is that disease becomes so challenging for families to live with. But there's a lot of reasons people move and have to move from their homes. Typically safety and the challenges around safety are the final triggering event. There's a lot of things inside that, but safety is the bottom line for my family and for the families I work with.
Well, and the memory care, I have it. One of my, obviously memory care is a role in my current parent project, and those I know that is emotion. There's a lot of ties to that. When you're a family member coming into it, you're not just dealing with whatever the normal aspects are. It's hard to watch those things go. It's hard to know that your loved one generally has an idea of what's coming, and everybody working through all of that. How does that how does that play in when you're doing?
And when we see the first signs of what we call early onset or mild cognitive impairment, we're not seeing it as dementia yet. We're reacting to the changes in their personality. Maybe they're more irritable and we don't really understand why. And so we're talking to them as if it's just mom or just dad.
Yeah.
And really it's a disease process that's starting to unfold on you. Then you start to understand that the person affected has a recognition or awareness that they've got one foot in sometimes reality and one foot out.
Yeah.
And that's frightening for them. And so depression symptoms can exacerbate, anxiety symptoms, sleep, and all that. And then you're really having a degeneration of their brain tissue, right? And you're watching this unfold as a loved one, watching your mom and dad or grandma and grandpa experience these changes. And I've always called Alzheimer's a thief because it literally robs people of their life right before our eyes. As an adult child myself, then I'm wondering, oh man, is that my story? Is that coming too? So I have my own feelings and anxieties about that.
Which probably plays a role in how we tackle and maybe even don't tackle what we see, how difficult that is.
And so if you are inclined to be the person that puts your head in the sand and hopes everything gets better and go down, you could be that guy. You could be the family that's overzealous and wants answers and wants to try every known medical and authorized and unauthorized treatments. So, people have different responses to it. The emotion to it is what I'm drawn to. Having been a clinician that worked in mental health and behavioral health spaces, I'm drawn into and lean in with people about all that and encourage them to speak freely and openly, find support groups, find others that are experiencing the same journey, because there's a lot of comfort and support you get from hearing other people's stories too.
Without a doubt, that's so is whether it's memory care, if that's where it is, or it's just watching that decline and coming to the realization of the Alamo we have is probably not going to be the best Alamo. I guess there are those that maybe start those conversations early. We would hope early and often, always early and often. You've heard 1,000 times. Stay on top of that. I know you and I have talked about that countless times. Let's go to that user case though that doesn't. It's sat down there, not necessarily from that mental standpoint, but they've just realized it's not the safe location. We're not going to be able to make it a safe location. What are some of those first questions when a family's calling Options that you guys are feeling?
Well, they always ask about cost. It's always,
so we shouldn't feel bad about asking.
No. And we need to know how they're resourced. That's how I ask the question. What's mom or dad's resources to handle this? Because they think oh, dad served in the military, he had great insurance, or I've got Medicare and I got a supplement. What's that
Yeah.
cover?
Or the VA is going to deal with
The
it
VA
all.
is going to deal with it. And insurance doesn't cover
Yeah.
senior living. It's considered custodial.
Yeah.
And so it becomes a family responsibility. Now, there are some assistances, public assistance through the VA and through our Medicaid program. That's a different conversation, but we have to talk about that because wherever they select, it's got to be sustainable to the budget and not blow them out.
Right. Because you wouldn't want to, since we know that every move just takes a ding in quality of life and that recovery from that, this isn't something you want to do 5 times.
No. And so we want to find solutions, and my team and I are adept at asking the right questions. And so we'll find out, do you want to do this just once? We want to find a facility that can take care of your mom's needs or dad's needs for the rest of their life. Maybe it's an assisted living with a graduated memory care to come. Maybe it's already advanced to the point where they just need a straight in full-blown memory care center.
Yeah.
There's a lot of smaller assisted living homes that are awesome resources for families that aren't in corporate memory care centers.
Yeah.
And so we navigate that. That's our thing, is in our discovery, we want to give them the outcomes that they hope for. We try to educate them. We see ourselves as educators, advocates, and experts in the resources of our community. So that's our thing. So we know all the best opportunities, and senior living is a moving target. So this month it's awesome. Next month that they've had some changes in personnel or the nurse left. So we stay on top of that because it is a moving target for families, and we want to be able to guide them to the right solutions. We literally go with them as an agent would accompany them.
Yeah.
No cost to them. Again, we get paid a referral fee from the receiving facilities. We cover all that with them up front. So we just go with them and walk them through it. And they've got an ally to ask the questions and ask the tough questions and prompt the conversation that the facility representative would have with the family to make sure it all goes well.
So there is so many options that sit. I mean, and we've got, there's a couple of resources on parentprojects.com, and I'm pretty sure you guys have got some as well that show that just the different spectrums, depending on how much help you might need, where costs might sit, size of populations, what they're looking for. How does a family prepare themselves to figure that out? Can they prepare themselves?
Yeah, they really need to. And there are over 2,000 licensed facilities in Maricopa County.
Yeah.
That's 2,000. And that's not the unlicensed independent living.
Right. And just, I mean, you make mention, I'm sorry to interrupt. Here's where I'd love to highlight, and this is why we like you. This is why we like options, right? And at Parent Projects this is a moving target. Mm-hmm. Senior living it's all over the place. It is almost like pushing a rope, because to get to that, oftentimes you're working through this industry here that is full of all kinds of other moving targets and where that goes. What is it that makes options unique, or what is it, that perspective that helps everybody understand that? What's the safeties?
Well, behind the scenes, nobody knows that to the level of degree that we have a gal just behind the scenes that all she does is research on the facilities. Yeah. We have a credentialing process for the facilities that we choose to use. We had a meeting with our team yesterday just to talk about these things and why the targets keep moving, because we have a real caregiver shortage in town. There's a real fluidity of the workforce that moves around. We are building like mad new senior living facilities.
Yeah.
And so the workforce moves from one to the next to the next. We have a plethora
That's a big
of
one.
home care companies. So care companies that provide people in care homes, same pool of people that they're drawing from are the communities, and the homes are fighting for the same. So
absolutely.
This is a whole moving target.
Yeah.
And so we have a behind the scenes credentialing person that just reviews manager's license, this facility licensing. Who owns these facilities? Are they being rented, or are they owner operated? These are questions that most people don't know.
Right.
Another thing about our industry, we are completely unregulated, unlicensed.
Yeah.
People don't know that.
Most of these are in that aging side of the house. I mean,
so it was really important a number of years ago that a group was formed here in Phoenix. I had a hand in that, called Passers, and Passers provides us structure, trade association, representation, education, advocacy, best practices for our industry. Now we have a credentialing and certification program that we can participate in that was never available before these groups started to step in. And so we and all of my team are certified at the highest level, and we are also members of those trade associations where it tells us I have to carry liability insurance. It tells everybody that we do a background check and we're fingerprinted because we're working with vulnerable people. It tells them that we're not intentionally moving people around for multiple fees. There's a couple dozen of those best practices, but that guides our work, and I hope says to families and our referring partners, I trust those guys.
Yeah, and those are important, especially when you're going through what's, I think what can be difficult is families trying to figure out now you see a lot of those against 73 different industries of different people you deal with, and trying to keep that straight when you've got one parent that, is in this state and another parent maybe in this state, and your family lives in this state, and where all that comes together. So great information on that perspective, how that comes through. And I think we'll see, and I really do hope that we continue to see those organizations continue within their trades, step up, organize themselves. They seem to be able to do it pretty darn well.
And the group is actually advocating for some targeted legislation, so that it becomes part of the law, right?
Yeah.
But any state doesn't want to take on new legislation endeavors to oversee too much, and government's balancing that on when the need really becomes a need for pass. So passers and other groups around the country actually working on some legislative efforts, so that it becomes the law to protect families, protect the senior living industries. Everybody needs some safeguards in that respect.
Yeah, I agree. So when families are looking to get more information off you guys, where they can find you?
Well, we're on the web. www.optionsforseniorliving.com. We are all over Facebook. We have a YouTube channel. Call our office. We're staffed 24/7.
And you'll see them highlighted at Parent Projects, parentprojects.com, and just really enjoying getting that full understanding of how you guys get to where you're at. Thanks so much for sharing those time, talents, and treasures with the group.
Super glad to be here today. Thanks.
It was good to have you. Hey guys, that's going to wrap us up for the time being. Stay tuned a little bit later today. We've got about one more interview that's going to happen this afternoon as we continue to come to you from the 2023 Phoenix Media Day event. Stay tuned.